It is the end of November and this is the third JLPT progress update. I honestly have pretty mixed feelings about this month because, as I said, I was going to read more and I did read a lot more. I finished Beauty and the Beast, I read another book, I read a lot on Link. But on the other side, I kind of neglected my textbook studies a lot, and if you remember the last 2 weeks of October, I believe it was, I didn't really study with textbooks, and basically that continued until mid-November because I'm just really busy with university, and even at the end of November I still didn't study a lot, but I tried to cram in as much as I could get done. I still don't really feel prepared. I mean, I kind of do feel prepared, but I feel like my Japanese has gotten worse instead of getting better, which is something I want to talk about a little more after I show you the stats and the trackers in my little blue book. Time to have a look at November. Let me just spoil you real quick. It's pretty ugly because I made some pretty bad decisions. So this is what I decided to go for. You can see it's November and I did these little squares for days that I did my sentence cards. But then I made the big mistakes of gluing these ugly stickers on days that I studied. And it would have been cute if I had studied more, but as you can see, I studied 5 days of this month. So, as I said, my textbook study is pretty off. So then here is the tracker of my study books. So as you can see, I finished this one. I also finally finished this one. Still haven't done the last tests of these textbooks, but I'll probably do them next week. And then this one, I'm still not done with it. There is about 1.5 weeks left and I don't know if I can finish that, but yeah. Then these ones are the ones I said I might do in the last week, but seeing as I'm a little behind on schedule, I'll probably not get them done. Well, I mean, this one is a grammar book, so it's a little late to review my grammar now, but I might give it a few reads over. And then these ones are just basically test questions. I think I could do them this week if I find enough time. And this is how my 100-day tracker looks like. As you can see, I did not do a good job studying this month. It's pretty much everything's white, yeah. However, this is my reading tracker and I think it's not bad. I finished Beauty and the Beast. It took me exactly 1 month. I read a lot on that 14th of November because I really wanted to get it done within 1 month, and I think that's pretty cool. I then did a poll on Instagram where I asked which book to read next, and most of the people voted to read this book, and I have no idea what that book is about. I got it from a friend. He said it's a book that people read in high school or middle school in Japan, and so yeah, I'll be reading that. I haven't started yet though because I found it. There is a book club and they decided to read Animal Farm for this month, and I did read it. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of random vocabulary, but I really enjoyed it and I can't wait for next month's book. Then if we go a little down, this is of course my drama tracker. I watched this one drama and all throughout watching it I felt very guilty. But I will talk about this guilt a little bit later on. This drama, I do not recommend it. It's not too good. And last, my basically Link readings. This is where a lot of my reading came from this month. So I went through 2 animes, No Game No Life and 1 Week Friends. This one was really cute. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who is starting out with Japanese. I don't think it's too difficult. Yeah, No Game No Life has a lot of good vocabulary. I did not expect that, but I got a lot of good sentence cards from them. And in this one, I know this has an anime version as well, but I actually read like the ebook, I guess. I mean the audio, I listened to it and read it, so yeah, the story is a little weird. I don't know what the hype is about, but okay. Yeah, and I haven't decided what I'm going to get next, but as you will see, I haven't done a lot of sentence cards because I've not decided what to read next. Then of course here is my link. I just got to 17k the other day, which means I will not make it to 18k for the JLPT, but I'll probably make it to 18k until the end of the year, so that is a win, I guess. It's better than the 5k I was at when I started, huh? And then of course there is my sentence cards. As you can see, the numbers are like really crazy in some days, like I did 17, 18 and 16 some days, but then I really started slacking and I don't see myself doing any sentence cards for the next week, probably, possibly the week after that too. But I still think that sentence cards are a pretty good way to learn. Yeah, I'll see how things develop. And that is the final update. So that is what November looked like, and as I said before, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm really happy with my reading, but my textbook study on the other hand, yeah. There's 2 things I want to talk about. One is my feelings towards the JLPT and towards JLPT study in general, now that I've been studying for like 3 months to get to here basically. And the other thing is how I from now on think to continue studying Japanese. I think those 2 are pretty related. And so the first thing, and I've mentioned this before, either last month update or even maybe the update before that, I'm honestly not convinced that studying specifically targeted for the JLPT is going to help my Japanese get any better. Because yes, in theory, all these words that I've been cramming into my brain and all the grammar structures that I've been trying to learn, they are somewhere in my brain now. But in reality, I can't use any of them. I can't use them in speech. And to be honest, I feel like I will forget a lot as soon as the JLPT is over. Obviously, I did notice that my Japanese has gotten a lot worse since I left Japan and came back to Germany, which has been about 3.5 months now. But I mean, that was to be expected since I'm not surrounded by Japanese speakers and by my host family, and I just don't have the opportunities to speak in Japanese anymore. But I honestly feel like studying for the JLPT with all these targeted exercises of like remembering this word in this context, learning these kanji just for the sake of being able to read them, is not something that has necessarily helped me get better or keep my Japanese level at a level that it was when I was back in Japan. And I think I might have fallen into the trap of thinking that if I just studied from textbook, just did a lot of exercises, checked a lot of check boxes basically, that I would get better at Japanese. But over the last 2 or maybe 3 weeks, I noticed that honestly, that is not how it works. But yeah, for a while now, basically throughout all of November, I felt like whenever I was doing something fun, like as I said, I was reading Animal Farm, and I really enjoyed that, and I read it in a few days because I really enjoyed the story. I understood what was going on for most of this time, and I felt like I was learning something and enjoying something at the same time. But whenever I was doing activities like that, I felt a kind of guilt creep up in me, be like, you should be studying textbooks right now and you know that. And that feeling is really not fun, and it made studying Japanese as a whole more of a chore than something I would enjoy doing. And that is really sad because there was a time when I used to enjoy studying Japanese, even with textbooks. There was times when I would sit down and, do a few chapters, do a few grammar points, go through a few pages, and I would totally enjoy doing that. But now that I'm always torn between, I can do something fun and still feel guilt about it, or I do something not fun, and then I feel bad either way, it just really made studying Japanese not fun. So yeah, that was a little rant, I guess, about me not wanting to study Japanese in the way that I did for the last 3 months. And that brings me to my next point of, from now on, how do I think of continuing to study Japanese? I just want to read more, increase my vocabulary even more, increase my recognition, maybe read a little different things, try to read a newspaper, try to read like a scientific article on linguistics. I still have Japanese classes twice a week, but honestly it feels more like they're making my Japanese even worse. Everything we do there is something I've already done in Japan. Outside of that, I don't think I'll be trying to get my spoken Japanese like so much better than it is now, and I know it's not the best place right now because I haven't used it for a long time. I use it maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, but that is not something that I'll focus on going forward. I don't think I'll be making another December update. I might make like a fancy New Year update since I'm a big fan of those like New Year language goals or whatever they're called. I really like those, but we'll see. I just hope to get back to enjoying Japanese and maybe not being forced to do things that I do not like to do.